Okay, so today we are going to start with module 3. Okay, so in module 3 we have like basically the software evaluation for SaaS, like what are the things we must consider before going for the software as a service. Okay, and also we'll study about a bit of cloud testing. Okay, so let's start now. So basically before going for this software as a service, we there are four principles are there. Okay, there are like whenever like the SaaS and new enterprise software offerings are created, so there are like lots of methods are there. What should be considered, few principles are there that we must consider so that we get the best of the software, okay, service. So first is the importance of methodology. Obviously, if you want to reduce the risk of something, reduce the risk of the putting things storage in the cloud, and then say then if there is an implementation failure, and obviously to align with the business needs, like in software, like for software engineering, we have a SDLC model. We too have in cloud the methodology is important. Why do we have a SDLC? To provide a so sorry like okay, to provide a high quality software. Okay, similarly we should, that is why in cloud also we must focus on the methodology to reduce the risk, implementation risk, then achieve our region of interest, like so proper things, proper like benefit we'll get, realize once we evaluated the cloud, and that is totally depend upon the methodology we have used, because it may, if we use the proper methodology, it will benefit the organization, and if the company don't use the proper methodology, then it may also lead to failures. So next is the model differentiation. So there are several models for even cloud computing. Okay, so what happens? We need to like several software models are there for new billing, software billings, and everything. So we need to choose the particular model that will be appropriate for our own project, like own organization. We should like evaluate whether like similar kind of organization, what kind of model they are using. So all these things, like lots of things like different, like we SDLC. Let me you think of the SDLC. There are several models where they're like waterfall, iterative waterfall. That we went for one spiral model. Then like agile was there. Similarly, in cloud also, then based on the requirement, like based on the requirement of the organization, they should select their own model. It's not that others are using it, so that is why we will be using, but what will benefit the organization, based on that one only we have to choose a model. Okay, next in the industry specific expertise. Now this industry specific expertise is required. So if you hire someone who don't have any idea about the cloud they are using, they can buy any software, so no use, right? If you use the current software, if you're like where like if you have previous expertise in working in that part, then you are obviously you will can give your like thought, you can I give your ideas, or like probably I'm not getting the word that one, but you can give your own concepts, like how you can be beneficial benefit that cloud, for how, which part should be used, which software we can like use for our organization. Because what these companies do, right, they are moving to the software as a service, because they are these softwares organization use are really very very costly. Okay, so this software as a service, they provide what, a medium, so that they can use the software only for how much part they are using. So if they like, and that is based on like basically what is the requirement, what is the organization's requirement, and that is only understood by the industry, someone who have industry expertise. People don't have, like people being fresher, like for me also, if I join any cloud company, I won't be able to evaluate like which software I would need right now. Because see, I am in the teaching field, so if I join any company in the cloud based company, I'll be fresher only. So that is why particular domain people needs to be recruited, and then they can only think of which software is needed, and they can, like, for every industry it is mandatory, like you have the particular idea of the infrastructure you are going for, what architecture will be suitable for our organization. So like everything needs to be considered, maybe the past history of the organization, what is the most important software, so you pay for that service only. Okay. And the last one is the total cost of ownership. So how much, who is the owner, how much price we must pay for everything, like whether it is the licensing cost, because every for registration will be some cost will be there, like storage cost, if you, because everyone, if they use private cloud or hybrid cloud, they need to pay some money, right? Even if they go for the community one, they need to use for pay some money. So these all things, this all cost will fall under something, that is the total cost of ownership. Who owns it? Like, and these are the variables costs are there, like the variables for time of solution, current licenses. All these things will be costing some money. Okay, so all this cost comes under this total cost of ownership. So whatever we studied, like now, just I discussed that importance of methodology. That is methodology. A methodology is needed, and then we need to also think about the, so what was the next, was the model differentiation. Second or third one is the industry expertise and total cost of ownership. So all these things help us to evaluate, help the organization evaluate the SaaS service they want to use. Then only they go for this particular services. Okay, so everything I have mentioned, like if you have any confusion also, I'll be sharing the slides. Obviously, you know that, right? I have like mentioned everything in detail over here. So just go through it once, you will understand. Nothing to be like explained much. Like it is basically for the organization, how they, what are the factors they need to consider before going for the software as a service. Okay. So here it's written everything, the outlook, basically the output of the four things. So if you use like a proper method, proper methodology, and if you evaluate it properly, it will obviously benefit you people, like for basically, otherwise if you don't use it and you're a small company and you can't evaluate these principles properly, so what happens, the cost will increase, and it won't give you any profit. We are going for the software as a service to obviously to reduce the cost, right? So if you are unable to evaluate and you are like, you need some software but you are hiring using some other, like paying for some other software, that won't like give you any benefit to it. Next is the cloud testing. So what is testing? So we have already studied software engineering, we know what is software testing, which is used to evaluate the software. Similarly, if we want to evaluate the cloud, we go for this cloud testing. Okay, so it is like, Shakir is waiting, just wait. So cloud-based testing, what they do, like they go for imitating the real-world traffic, because we are moving to the cloud, so it should match, right? Whether it's matching or not, whether it is like copying the same environment, the real world, the physical provides, like physical environment provides. So they need to check whether like it tries to evaluate that one. Then where this cloud testing can be applied, obviously it can be applied for testing the clouds, then webs or any installed applications in the cloud. Then these providers of cloud testing services and tools offer test environments. So obviously they will provide cloud testing. So obviously they will provide you to test your application also, any requirement. So this cloud testing has given rise to one more service. You can say that we know all the three services you have studied, that infrastructure, platform as a service, and the last one is the software as a service we are evaluating just now. But this cloud testing now has given rise to a new testing service, that is the testing as a service. Now, which will which allows organizations to outsource their testing efforts. Now, testing as a service can be used for overall software testing as well as for conducting special types of tests such as performance, security, or functional testing. So, what was functional testing if you remember from your software engineering? Functional and testing, whether their software is functional or not. You have something about this in the software requirement part. You have like a functional requirement and non-functional requirement. Functional requirement is something that the user wants the software should contain, that should be like available. Okay, probably like when you write an email, when you open a Gmail account, you should get an acknowledgement in your mail. So that is the functional requirement. So this kind of requirement, like where you have opened an email, maybe Gmail, so are you getting the acknowledgement or not? So that is the functional requirements, right? Understood. Now, these are the benefits of cloud-based testing. First is the scalability. So obviously, if you are using a cloud-based environment, so now testers have the ability to increase and decrease the resources as per their needs, right? So it is scalable, cost cutting. Like cloud itself, it involves like because you don't need to use any uh, like resources which like you cannot pay, which are very costly. So in this case you just pay for only those resources which you need right now. So that is why expensive, you don't have to like spend lots of money. That is why it is known as cost cutting is there. And obviously time saving. So like this using this type of testing, what it can be done, it can be simultaneously run on different hardware. So spenders can like testers can now spend fixing defects. So if we are using in different hardwares, different machines, we are doing the testing part, so all the testers can work simultaneously, parallelly. Like it's not that we are using the same machines or something, we have to wait. So it will be time saved because everything will be done simultaneously or parallelly by the testers. Now it is last second, like fourth condition we have, that easily customizable. Now these cloud-based tools and services it can easily like they should be made to copy then end user, like however the environment they want. We have studied about the broad approaches of cloud migrations, where we found about the lift and shift one, and then the shelve and spend and refactor. So it was made to imitate what? It was made to imitate the user environment in the cloud, over the cloud, right? So it is to with minimum cost and time. So obviously you can customize the cloud. We know in like lift and shift, whatever we studied in the last module. So we know, we have learned that in lift and shift, whatever physical environment is made, we are like we put the same like we migrate the software in the similar environment there, right? So obviously it is less costly. That is why it is customizable, right? You can customize it. And because there is an option also, we can in the when we migrate it, when you go for the cloud migration 7 steps, so you find that we can refactor it. Okay, we can re-architect the model accordingly. Next is when we use this cloud-based testing, we have this properly configured test environment. So you don't have to set up the environment for yourself. Okay, now you let me give you an example of cloud-based test environment. Nowadays, I don't know if people have heard of it or not. There is Google Colab. Okay, Google Colab, what it like offers is, if you want to test your code or do any programming, you don't need to install anything in your laptop. Okay, so you are saving your RAM also, and you are just using the Google Colab environment where everything is installed. You need just to run your code there. Everything is saved in your Gmail drive. This is a like Google Colab. It's a service offered by, it's a service offered by Google, as you know. So it is totally free now, Google Colab. So what is that? If you are aware of Python, because I have worked in Python there, so Python Jupyter Notebook is already there. So you can just use the GitHub code. directly. If you want to run the code, you can run it. You can run your own software. The same testing environment is there. You don't have to go for any like install the application in your software application in your laptop or in your device. Okay, suppose in like nowadays, okay, say in nowadays what we do, even if you want to go for MySQL, if you want to do for MySQL, then also you have different applications in Google. Like if you Google it, you will get it. So for example, let me give you DB Fiddle. So DB Fiddle, like if you don't want to install like MySQL in your laptop, say such a big file software, so you can go for this DB Fiddle software and just run your code, because that will give you the entire environment, like exact environment like you have in your like you are using in your system. Okay, and then we also for C programming, I know C compiler many of you have used also. Okay, in your GDB, online GDB is there, like tutorial point offers. So lots of this test environments are available. So obviously you can, without like using any like like installing any software also takes time. Then you should have a RAM available for it also. And so it comes like in like if you have such kind of sometimes in like you people are aware of MySQL. So MySQL, installing MySQL does take some time. It's not so easy like configuring that one. If once it is download also, I think 400 something MB file, then also for installing also it's very difficult to do. You need to watch like video lectures. So I think for very few people it happens in one time, like if you follow the proper procedure. But if we have a proper like cloud environment, cloud testing environment, why should we go for the MySQL, that one normal physical one, right? Then obviously faster testing. So if you have, if you go for this cloud based, it's faster testing. You don't install also, nothing else is done, and you can just directly test your code there, right? And next is obviously this. And I think everyone have used the online GDB, the compiler GDB. Okay, so you people aware of it, how fast it is. It is not the slow one. So you don't install, you just type in the Google and then you just get it and just run the program. So that is it. And constant availability. So if you have internet, it will be available 24/7 to you. You don't have to go to anywhere, right? So it is possible to test your software anytime. It test your code also. Like probably at 2 p.m. also, if you have like internet, then you can test your advanced. That is why it is easily configurable. So this was all about the class like cloud testing and benefits of cloud testing. Okay, till this point, any confusion?
Okay,
Students
no.
left? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I like I'll just stop it for to discuss till this much only. Okay, I won't explain much because otherwise, what I will study like teach you tomorrow and then. Okay. So this much. Let me take the attendance. Just wait for some time. Okay. Please go through the slides. I have shared the module 2 slides with you. Okay, please go through the slide, and if you have any confusion, please ask me. Okay, Rishikesh, are you there? Rishikesh, you have some
Ma'am.
confusion, right? Did you go
Yes,
through?
ma'am. I went.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am. So everything is clear now. I went because yesterday I was not able to concentrate, so that's why I
okay,
asked
okay.
you. And I went through that, and
See,
everything is
I
clear now.
tried to explain in the slide everything, whatever I mentioned also. So if you go through it, everyone will understand. Okay, then thank you
Yes,
all. Okay, Krishna is waiting as the class is over
ma'am.
right now. It's okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Krishna, it's okay. I
Yes,
just
ma'am.
the class is over. Okay, I'll share the like PPT and material, lecture material.
Attendance?
Yeah, I'll give. Don't worry. I'll click.